The Roman Empire had a problem. Not with armies, not with barbarians, but with 12 men. 12 ordinary men who refused to stop talking about a dead carpenter. The empire tried logic. It tried threats. It tried prison. And when none of that worked, it got creative. Tonight, you will witness what creative meant in the ancient world. You will see how an empire that built aqueducts and roads turned its engineering genius to just one task: exterminating 12 unarmed preachers. This is not a Sunday school lesson. This is a crime scene investigation spread across 3 continents and 40 years. Every death is different. Every method is a message. If you're ready to see history raw and unfiltered, you're in the right place. But before we enter the first execution chamber, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We go deeper than any other channel, and what you're about to learn will change how you see the foundations of the Western world. Don't miss a second. It starts in Jerusalem, 44 AD. The victim, James, son of Zebedee, that one of the inner circle, a son of thunder. The killer isn't a robber or a rival, it's the state. King Herod Agrippa needs a political win, and he discovers that killing a popular religious leader is excellent public relations. But this isn't just a murder, it's an experiment. Herod wants to see what happens. Does the movement collapse? Do the other 11 run and hide? The answer will shock him, and it will set in motion a chain of events so brutal, so calculated, that to understand it is to understand the true cost of faith in the ancient world. James is taken not to a public court, but to the fortress Antonia, the Roman garrison overlooking the temple. This is deliberate. It sends a message. Your God cannot see you here. The execution is scheduled for the inner courtyard at first light. Efficient, private, no crowds to make a martyr, just a soldier, a sword, and a stone floor. The soldier is a Syrian mercenary. His weapon is the Gladius Hispaniensis, the Spanish short sword that conquered the Mediterranean. 22 inches of cold forged steel. James is forced to his knees, but he doesn't bow his head. He looks straight ahead, toward the temple walls. The soldier doesn't swing. For a clean beheading, you place the blade and pull. The edge touches the nape of the neck, a sharp, powerful draw cut. The body slumps forward. The head rolls. Arterial blood pulses from the neck, first in strong jets, then in weak spurts, then a slow trickle. The entire process takes less than 30 seconds. The experiment is a success. The state has spoken. Belief in Jesus is now a capital crime. The movement can be decapitated. Herod is pleased, so pleased he arrests Peter next.
We must maintain control.
That was the first death. Clean, political, almost clinical. But the Empire is about to learn a terrifying lesson. Killing these men doesn't silence their message. It amplifies it. What happens next is a masterclass in failed suppression. The Romans try crucifixion. They try prolonged torture. They even try sending apostles to the ends of the earth. And every single time, it backfires spectacularly. This is where the story gets dark, fascinating, and historically undeniable. If you're hooked, you need to be here for all of it. We're just getting started. Smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Because the next death, Peter's death, redefined the most feared symbol of the ancient world. Peter escapes Jerusalem only to walk into the empire's heart. Rome, 64 AD. Emperor Nero needs scapegoats for the Great Fire. Christians are perfect, secretive, strange, and unwilling to worship him. Nero's persecution isn't about law, it's about spectacle. Christians are turned into human torches, fed to dogs. So when Peter is captured, his death must be theatrical. He's taken to Nero's private circus on Vatican Hill. The sand is dark, mixed with ash from previous victims. The sentence is crucifixion. But as soldiers prepare the crossbeam, Peter makes a request that baffles them. "Hang me upside down." The executioners are confused. Crucifixion is about shame. This request twists the shame into something else. Humility. They agree. Why not? A more painful, ridiculous death suits the leader of a ridiculous cult. They tie his ankles to the top of the upright post. Then they nail his wrists to the crossbeam. The nails aren't slender spikes. They're heavy iron railroad spikes, square in section, designed to splinter bone and hold fast. When they raise the cross, Peter's world inverts. Blood rushes to his head, his vision swims. The crowd's roar becomes a distant rumble. The inverted position is physiologically savage. To breathe, he must push up with his nailed wrists, lifting his entire torso. Each breath is a searing gasp. His shoulders slowly dislocate. He hangs for 3 hours. Witnesses say he prays in Aramaic until his voice fades. Finally, a junior soldier can't bear it. He takes a spear and thrusts it upward into Peter's chest. The fisherman who walked on water dies looking at the dirt, choosing humility as his final argument against imperial pride. While Peter dies in Rome's heart, his brother Andrew dies on its edge, in Patras, Greece. Andrew's crime, converting the Roman proconsul's wife. This isn't heresy, it's household treason. The proconsul, Agites, demands a special punishment, crucifixion, but on an X-shaped cross. This form is diabolical. It prevents the fatal asphyxiation of a standard cross. A man can live for days. They don't use nails. They use ropes soaked in seawater. As the ropes dry, they shrink, cutting deeper into flesh, hour by hour. They erect the cross on a hill overlooking the sea. Andrew looks at the crowd and does the unimaginable. He starts preaching. Day 1. He preaches from noon to sunset, tells stories of his brother, of Jesus, of a kingdom built on love. His voice carries on the sea wind. Night falls. He preaches by torchlight. His voice grows hoarse, but he quotes psalms about, "The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night." Day 2. His throat is raw. He can only whisper. People climb the hill to press their ears against the crossbeam. He whispers about forgiveness. As the second sunset approaches, he shouts with sudden strength, "Receive my spirit, O Christ." His head falls. He's gone. The proconsul's spectacle has been hijacked. The instrument of terror has become a pulpit. Andrew preached for 48 hours while dying. His final act wasn't survival. It was communication. Let's pause. Think about what you've just heard. James, killed to test a political theory. Peter, killed in a spectacle, but he rewrote the script. Andrew, killed to send a message, but he used his death to broadcast one. The Empire is losing control of the narrative. And it's about to get worse. Much worse. Because the apostles aren't staying in Roman territory. They're fleeing to the edges of the map, to places where Rome's methods get even more brutal and the apostles' resolve becomes superhuman. The next stop is India, and the apostle is Thomas, the doubter. What happens to him in that cave will make you question everything you thought you knew about martyrdom. If this channel is giving you the unvarnished, detailed history you've been searching for, do us a huge favor. Hit the like button right now. It tells YouTube this is exactly the kind of content you want, and it ensures you'll see the rest of this series. Thomas, the doubter, travels further than any apostle, all the way to the Malabar coast of India, a land of ancient gods, complex castes, and kings who've never heard of Rome. For 20 years, Thomas builds communities. He works as a carpenter for a local king, but he angers the Brahmin priests. They tell King Mazdai this foreigner is a sorcerer stealing people's souls. Thomas senses the danger. He retreats to a prayer cave on a hill outside Mylapore. It's the monsoon season. The rain sheets down in gray curtains. The king's guards find him there. Their captain, Jusanis, gives Thomas a choice: renounce your god or die. Thomas doesn't argue. He thanks the soldiers. Then he turns his back to them, facing the cave wall, assuming a prayer posture. The soldiers pin him against the stone. Jusans takes his spear, a long, slender weapon with a broad iron head. He doesn't thrust. He places the point against Thomas's back, below the shoulder blade, and leans his full weight into it. The spear goes through muscle, between ribs, through the lung, and out his chest, pinning him to the cave wall. Thomas exhales once, a released breath, not a scream. They leave him there. For 3 days, the monsoon rains pour outside. Thomas's body remains upright, held by the spear, blood mixing with rainwater running down the stone. When followers finally retrieve him, they have to saw the spear shaft. They bury him on that hill. The doubter who demanded physical proof of resurrection offered his own body as proof. Not in Jerusalem amongst friends, but in an Indian cave, alone. His death planted a church that survives in Kerala to this day. If Thomas's death was a piercing, Bartholomew's is an unraveling. He preaches in Armenia and converts the king's brother. King Astyages sees this not as faith, but as treason, a direct threat to his dynasty. The sentence: flaying alive, then beheading. This isn't just execution, it's a scientific demonstration. The message: we will strip you down to your component parts. We will prove you're just meat. Bartholomew is tied to a pillar in the public square. The executioners are specialists. Their tools, curved knives like those for cleaning fish. They start at his feet, incisions around the ankles, then they peel. The skin comes away from the calves in long, terrible strips. The sound is wet, ripping, like heavy canvas tearing. Medical experts note that pain at this level overloads the nervous system. The body goes into shock. Yet traditions say Bartholomew recites scripture as they work. They pause at his thighs, offer him vinegar and gall, not to ease pain, but to keep him conscious. He drinks. They continue up his torso.
Father, into your
The skin on the back is thick, tightly bound.
my spirit.
The knives work harder. Bartholomew's recitations become prayers of surrender. Finally, they reach his face, the seat of identity, precise incisions around the hairline. As the last connection is cut, his lips keep moving in silent prayer. What remains tied to the pillar is a raw, red anatomy lesson. Only then does the king give the order for the beheading. A swift sword stroke ends it. The body is burned, the head buried separately. The world tried to reduce Bartholomew to mere flesh, but the testimony that survived was of a spirit that remained unbroken even as his skin was removed layer by layer. We've now covered 5 apostles, 5 different deaths, 5 different imperial strategies, and all 5 have failed to silence the message. This is the paradox that changed history. The more violently Rome killed these men, the more powerful their story became. But we're only halfway through. The remaining 7 apostles meet ends just as shocking. One is sawn in half. Another is beaten to death with a club. One survives boiling oil only to die alone on a prison island. How did this movement not only survive the extermination of its entire leadership, but actually grow stronger because of it? The answer defies all common sense, unless you understand the psychology of martyrdom. Matthew, the tax collector, dies in Ethiopia. While kneeling at dawn prayer, an assassin's sword severs his head in one clean stroke. His body remains kneeling for a full minute before collapsing. Philip, crucified in Hierapolis. As he hangs, an earthquake strikes. His cross tears free and smashes him against a temple wall, shattering his body. James the Less, thrown from the temple's 150-foot pinnacle in Jerusalem. The fall breaks his legs but doesn't kill him. A mob stones him as he tries to crawl. A laundryman finishes him with a club to the head. Simon the Zealot, sawn in half lengthwise in Persia, not crosswise, lengthwise, starting at the head, a punishment for sorcerers. Jude Thaddeus, beaten to death with a nail-studded club in Beirut, every major bone broken. Matthias, stoned, then beheaded with an axe in Colchis. John, the exception, thrown into boiling oil in Rome but survives, exiled to Patmos, dies an old man in Ephesus, the last living link to Jesus. His martyrdom, outliving everyone he loved. Judas Iscariot's end provides the dark counterpoint. After his betrayal, he hangs himself in a potter's field. The rope is too long. He strangles slowly, kicking grooves in the dirt with his feet. Days later, his bloated body falls and bursts open on the rocks. The field gets a new name, Akeldama, field of blood. His death, isolated, despairing, visceral, frames the others. They died for something. He died because of something. 12 men, 12 deaths. From Jerusalem to India, from beheading to boiling oil. The Roman Empire threw everything at them. Swords, crosses, spears, knives, saws, clubs, earthquakes, exile. And it all failed. Because these men died the same way they lived, convinced. When you're willing to be skinned alive rather than change your story, people stop questioning your honesty. They start questioning your truth. The apostles' tragic ends weren't the failure of their mission. They were the explosive, irreversible ignition of it. If you're not subscribed with notifications on, do it now. This channel exists to bring you history without filters, without agendas, with this level of detail and respect for the truth. We're just getting started. The next investigation is already in production. You won't want to miss it. History isn't just about what happened. It's about why it matters, and why it still matters today.